I'm sorry if I sound as if I'm getting slightly irritated with things this morning. I haven't had well, I've had a little sleep, but unfortunately I was waiting for somebody to arrive from the airport, and so I've had a very small amount of sleep, and I had planned to go back to bed, but in fact I haven't. I may later. I have a little bit of artwork to finish this morning, and I have some teaching to do, and so yeah, I can get a bit cranky, I suppose, when I get tired, and I'm particularly cranky about Robert Jenrick. Now, I think Jenrick is an extremely able and capable speaker in the House of Commons, and I have no doubt that's one of the reasons why he has had such promotion. But when you look back over his time, he's been embroiled in quite a number of scandals, starting with the housing project. In 2020, he actually admitted that he had deliberately helped a Conservative donor avoid paying a new tax on a housing development. And at the time, he was the housing secretary, and he was criticised for approving Richard Desmond's housing scheme and saving £45 million. And it was simply a result of Richard Desmond sitting next to Jenrick at a Conservative fundraising event in November 2019. They exchanged text messages, and the property tycoon benefited greatly from that association. And as I say, Jenrick admitted this. And he said that he had no knowledge of the businessman's donation and had acted on the merits of the case throughout. Very, very questionable. Then, at the start of the coronavirus pandemic, he faced criticism for moving his family to a 1.1 million country manor, despite getting advice not to go to second homes. He then charged £100,000 for the home he appears to only use very rarely. He charged taxpayers that amount of money. So this is on his expenses, and he left his £2.5 million London house to move to the 17th century Grade 1 listed country house in Hertfordshire. He said it was all codswallop, but it's questionable. You know, a minister's activities are supposed to be above board. They're supposed to be something that we can look up to, because that minister, indeed any ordinary MP, is our representative. And then he was forced to pay back expenses when it turned out that he had claimed for both petrol costs and rail tickets for a return trip to his constituency in Newark. Well, how can he be so confused? At the time, he was the communities secretary, caught red-handed by one of his constituents, who brought it to the attention of the Parliamentary Standards Authority. The trip in question was made on September the 6th in 2019, and he was going north to announce the government's £3.6 billion towns fund, and he claimed £61.20 mileage for each of the 2 car journeys of 136 miles, and at the same time a £159 return rail fare for the same visit. This is part of the levelling up, so he's certainly been levelling up, hasn't he? And he didn't quite get away with it that time. I mean, you know, really, it doesn't matter how good your rhetoric is. If your morality is wanting, maybe you have to recognise that your place is not in the House of Commons.